Hi, first grade. Here we are again, trying to do a little bit more predicting using our background knowledge, our prior knowledge, in combination with text and pictures, which is similar to the skill we've already learned about making an inference. What I already know plus what I see or read equals what is probably true. With predicting, you look at the facts, think about what you already know about that, and then you come to a conclusion and make a prediction about what will happen. So we'll go through a couple more pictures for you to think about as we anticipate doing another story. Here it is. Here you see the baby, and without me telling you, you kind of already know what these things are, but just in case you can't see clearly, this is a can of paint, which it's evident that there's paint dripping down the sides. Here is a tray that people use to put paint in so that it's easier to get to. And this is called a roller. The roller is pushed back and forth in the tray to get paint on it. So it says, uh-oh. Well, usually when we hear the sound uh-oh, it means something happened that wasn't supposed to happen and usually is not a good thing. What happened? Well, based on what I'm seeing here, the baby got a hold of this tray that has paint in it and has the roller in it. So I know that babies really don't know that it's not good to play with paint. And this baby is kind of pointing like, look what I did. He's not quite sure what to do about it, but it looks like he might end up getting some paint on himself. What happened? The baby got a hold of the tray. What do you predict will happen next? I predict the baby will end up with some paint all over him. It looks like he's already got the paint on his clothing. So probably will get worse. Then after that, the next thing that might happen is an adult might come along and intervene, take the paint away, and try and get the baby all cleaned up. That's my prediction. What about this one? Is this a familiar experience for you? Has this ever happened to you? I would say I've never had an ice cream cone, which is what is sitting here, but I've had other things that I've dropped. So based on our inferences, we see a child in sort of flip-flops and shorts, so we can infer that it's summertime. We can infer that because this is laying face down or ice cream down, that this child had an ice cream cone and dropped it. So what do we see? We see an ice cream cone lying in the grass on the ground. Has this ever happened to you? As I said, not with an ice cream cone, but I've had other things like lollipops and things like that that I've dropped. What do you think will happen next? Well, it looks like it's a fairly little child. And a little child who loses an ice cream cone is terribly disappointed. So I'm going to predict that the child is going to cry and be upset and perhaps stamp his feet. Somebody might predict that the child will go and pick up the ice cream cone and continue to eat it. Other people might predict that a parent or an adult might come along and say, hey, let's go get you another ice cream cone. Or a parent might come along and say, oh, well, too bad, I'm sorry, time to go. So there's a few different ways this could play out. That's one of the things about predicting. You might not necessarily be right, but you're going to use your background knowledge to figure out what might come next. All right, so I got one more for you. So what is happening here? So I'm sure you've all done this. We had blocks similar to this in our classroom. We know these are shaped blocks. This child is stacking the blocks. He's looking like he's concentrating. You see his face. He's very focused on those blocks. So that is what is happening here. It is a child stacking the blocks. Have you ever done this? I'm assuming that all of you have at some point. Make two predictions about what might happen next. Well, one prediction is that he will make a tall tower or a city, whatever it is that he's trying to create. Another prediction is that he will put on the block the wrong way and the whole thing will tumble down. Two different predictions. Both are reasonable based on what I've already experienced and what I see in the picture. All right, so today we're going to read another book where you're going to make some predictions. Some might be right, some might not be, but it's always important to use your prior knowledge and what you're seeing. The title of the book is Interrupting Chicken, and that's a pretty silly name, so we know that this book was written to entertain. There really isn't a lot of information, and there definitely isn't something to convince you or persuade you to do something. The book was written by a man named David Ezra Stein, and you'll notice there are some speech balloons in here that carry part of the story. So I'll try and remember to read those as well as the text. It says, this book is called Interrupting Chicken, right, Papa? So we already know, we don't have to infer that this is the father and this is the child. Yes, now please don't interrupt the story. So that's giving us a clue that the front of the book, interrupting, what does interrupting mean? So you have to use some prior knowledge about what the meaning of the word interrupting means. So if you're not sure, we'll find out as we read. So here's a picture. Obviously this is fiction because they're chickens and they're talking and looks like they even have a house here, which is not typical for chickens, as you know. It was bedtime for the little red chicken. That he's putting on his pajamas with his father's help. Okay, my little chicken, Papa said, are you all ready to go to sleep? Not just bed, to sleep. Yes, Papa, but you forgot something. What could he have forgotten? What's that? Asked Papa. A bedtime story. Now let's remember what the title was, Interrupting Chicken. And he's asking for a bedtime story. What do you think is going to happen? All right, said Papa, I'll read one of your favorites. And of course, you are not going to interrupt the story tonight, are you? Oh, no, Papa, I'll be good. So what do you predict will happen based on the title of the book and based on what you've seen so far? Papa's saying you're not going to interrupt the book tonight. That kind of gives us a hint about something. All right, here's the book. And you might have prior knowledge about this one, Hansel and Gretel. Hansel and Gretel were very hungry. Deep in the woods, they found a house made of candy. Nibble, nibble, nibble. They began to eat the house until the old woman who lived there came out and said, What lovely children. Why don't you come inside? They were just about to follow her when... Oops, I'm sorry, I didn't show the picture. When... What do you think is going to happen to Hansel and Gretel? Out jumped a little red chicken and she said, Don't go in, she's a witch. So Hansel and Gretel didn't. The end. What did he just do? He didn't let the story finish. He interrupted. Chicken? Yes, Papa. You interrupted the story. Try not to get so involved. I'm sorry, Papa, but she really was a witch. Well, you're supposed to be relaxing so you can fall asleep. Let's try another story. I'll be good. So here, I want you to see the chicken is saying how he'll be good. Look at his face. He's making a promise. Little Red Riding Hood. You all know that story. Take this basket of goodies to Grandma, said Little Red Riding Hood's mother. But don't stray from the path. The woods are full of danger. Red Riding Hood skipped along through the deep woods. By and by, she met a wolf who wished her good morning. She was about to answer him when... Out jumped a Little Red Chicken, and she said, "Don't talk to strangers." So Little Red Riding Hood didn't. The end. Ha ha ha. What did the Little Red Chicken do? Interrupted, huh? Chicken? Yes, Papa. You did it again. You interrupted 2 stories, and you're not even sleepy. I know, Papa. I'm sorry, but he was a mean old wolf. Yes, now get back into bed. Okay, Papa. Let's try one more little story, and I'll be good. Do you have any predictions? Are you making any predictions in your head? Can you predict how the story will end? Next one is called Chicken Little. Chicken Little was hit on the head by an acorn. The sky is falling, she thought. She was about to run off and warn Goosey, Lucy, Ducky, Lucky, Henny Penny, and everyone on the farm that the sky was falling when... Do you have a prediction? Out jumped a Little Red Chicken, and she said, "Don't panic, it was just an acorn." So Chicken Little didn't. The end. Were you able to predict that that was what was going to happen? Chicken. Yes, Papa. You did it again. Oh, Papa, I couldn't let that little chicken get all upset over an acorn. Please read one more story, and I promise I'll fall asleep. But Chicken, said Papa, we are out of stories. What do you predict is going to happen? Oh, no, Papa, I can't go to sleep without a story. Anybody have a thought how we can solve the problem? Then, said Papa, yawning, why don't you tell me a story? Me? Tell a story? Said the Little Red Chicken. Okay, Papa, here we go. So here's the chicken getting ready to tell his story. Bedtime for Papa by Chicken. Once there was a Little Red Chicken who put her Papa to bed. She read him 100 stories. She even gave him more milk, but nothing worked. He stayed wide awake all... What's your prediction? Happened. The Red Chicken fell asleep. Wrong. Papa! Good night, Papa. Was your prediction right? So, I'm not sure how you did with predicting. Did you think that Papa was going to fall asleep before the Little Red Chicken? Or what? Well, I hope you enjoyed that story, and I hope that you are feeling more confident about making predictions. We will read one more story on Friday, and that will end our unit on making predictions. Tomorrow we're going to focus on justifying why did I think that. So we'll do that then, and I'll see you Friday.